Research. Thank you, honorable members. We have preset questions, and time allowing, through the chair, you will be allowed to ask a follow-up question or any other question outside the preset question. But our main focus will be to deliberate on the preset question first till the end, then time allowing, the chair will give a few minutes to honorable members to ask any follow-up questions to a previously preset question or any new question that you may have in mind. I'll wish to guide on the distribution of questions. I believe everybody has a copy of this preset question, but before I continue guiding today's committee is co-chaired by both PAC and Budget Committee. My co-chair will have his moment of introduction in a short while. Only that both of us could not be talking at the same time. I'm speaking now. So question number one will be handled by the budget chair. Question number two will be handled by the PAC chair.
I hope in front of us here is none other but Mr. Laban 𝐍𝐻𝐒𝐄𝐄. Okay, thank you, honorable members. This is to confirm the person in front of you is Laban 𝐍𝐻𝐒𝐄𝐄. the nominee for CCO Financing and Economic Planning. Welcome, Mr. Laban. I'm Honorable Amos Makalo. I chair the Public Accounts Committee. We'll give chance for every member to introduce himself or ourselves as they're asking the questions, the respective questions, but feel at ease and respond to the questions as they come to you. Be as precise as possible because we have limited time ahead of us. We have several activities to undertake for the day. So depending on how you respond to the questions, then we'll determine how long this exercise will take. But we wish you a good session. This is an interactive session. Feel free to engage and ask where you need more clarification. Feel free to engage the honorable members and shed information, share documents that are with you to help you, this house, to get the necessary information so that we can make an informed decisions towards the end. You're most welcome, Mr. Laban.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, karibu.
Once again, welcome, Mr. Laban. Now that you've been positively identified by my co-chair, today's activity will be run by the two committees of the House, Committee on Budget, Finance and Planning, and the Committee of PICPAC. My name is Jimmy Momidi. I'm the chair budget. But first, before we begin the exercise, which is a culmination of a process, among other things, the House sent out a communication to the general public of our constitutional role and mandate under Section 45B, Section 45(1)B, where we are supposed to vet the candidates as presented to us by the governor of Taveta. And it was very clear on how the communication must be made to the House. That communication was supposed to have been received on or before 27th of September. And it had to be a sworn affidavit or a statement under oath. But that notwithstanding, this House is alive to the fact that it serves the people and the general public of Taita Taveta. So much as we may not consider precisely any communication that is not in conformity with what was prescribed and has been prescribed by law, we are also obligated to consider any information that reaches the House from the members of the public and the fact that we, the MCAs, are representatives of the people. In that remark, we have only one set of information or inquiry, an inquiry raised by one Abedi Malusha, and in his inquiry he requested the county assembly not to continue with the activity of vetting your candidature on the basis of not having complied with the Section 45(1)A. The committee are still considering what has been aired by one Malusha. It is just an inquiry. And we will still give a comprehensive report as part of our reporting at the end of the exercise. But we will also wish to inform that reference to his inquiry is a letter by the county secretary dated 9th, but that was not our basis of inviting you for this interview. Our basis for inviting you for this vetting stems out of section 45(1)(b), where upon receiving a recommendation from the governor, who currently is Andrew Mwalime, then the county assembly is obligated to carry out the exercise. And yes, I want to confirm that we received a communication from the governor on the 11th of September 2024, and that is precisely what was in our advertisement. So with those few remarks, the chair rules on behalf of the committee that the vetting process continues, and within the stipulated time limit, the House will give a report on the whole process. That notwithstanding, any other issue that may have been canvassed will still be part and will form a part of our reports. So with those few remarks and with that ruling, I wish to proceed to our first question of the day. We have a set of several questions. We'll ask one question and allow you time to answer. Any follow-up questions, honorable members, you're advised to note them down, and we'll create time at the end of the question and answer moment for any follow-up questions. So welcome, Mr. Laban. Feel relaxed. It's just part of the day business. It's what, should you satisfy this House that you deserve the position, this is exactly what we'll be doing each and every other day. To the nominee as well as guided, before you start taking any question, you have to confirm to the House by law provided that whatever you are saying stands before you and the Creator you believe in.
I, Laban Belenga Kinyai, do hereby swear to testify to all matters in question and tell this committee the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you and welcome, Mr. Laban. I hope you're relaxed enough to take the question. You can write down. So, Mr. Laban, tell us about yourself, specifically on your professional experience as refers your nomination or as relates to your nomination.
Thank you, Chair. Basically, my brief professional experience spans up to 12 years work experience, more than 12 years. After my graduation, I was employed at Kenya Forest Service, that is the year of 2012, as a junior accountant. I was in charge of accounts payable, doing normal routine accounts payable, cash management, and bank reconciliation. In 2015, I moved from the Kenya Forest to Taita Taveta County Government, where I was employed as a budget officer. And also, after 1 year, my roles were doubled. I served as a World Bank project accountant for Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Project, and also European EU project for banana processing in Taveta. After that, I moved to Tavevo, Water and Sewerage Company, where I served as a finance manager for 3 years before moving to Mombasa Water as a general manager, finance and administration. After moving from Mombasa Water, I came back to county government as a director in charge of budget and economic planning. So basically, with the sharp rising trajectory in my career, I feel that I'm the suited candidate to fill for the CCO Finance and Economic Planning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My next question is, kindly tell this committee the position you have been nominated and briefly state where the office derives its mandates.
Thank you, Chair. Basically, the position which I've been nominated, the County Chief Officer for Economic Finance and Economic Planning, drives its functions and mandate from the Constitution of Kenya, Part 2, 4th Schedule, and the Part 4 of the PFM Act 2012, and County Governments Act, Part 10, Section 45.
I give it to my co-chair to take the next question.
Thank you, Mr. Laban. I give you the question, you write, and then you can respond to it. Briefly state and explain 5 main mandates and the function of the department as enshrined in the Public Finance Management Act. Briefly state and explain 5 mandates and functions of the department as enshrined in the Public Finance Management Act. As you respond to that, you tell us which Finance Management Act you quote from. Okay, proceed.
Thank you. Basically, there are various functions for the Department of Finance and Economic Planning. But the first one, which I can state, is formulation of financial and economic policies. The second one is in consultation with the second one is basically budget preparation, and estimates. That includes revenues and expenditure. And then the third one is basically acts as the custodian of the inventory of the county assets, of the all county assets as enshrined in law. And then the fourth one, basically providing a framework on how the budget is going to be funded and how the resources are going to be mobilized. And then the fourth one is preparation of financial statements as prescribed as per the Accounting Standards Board. And then the fifth one is working closely with the National Treasury, providing reports as required under any other agencies, and also capacity building staff in the financial in the county entities. And then maybe if I can add one more, which is helping in the implementation of the budget. And then the last one is we're informing the county assembly on how the budget implementation process is being carried out. Thank you.
Thank you. We can move to the next question. Honorable Rose Shingira, you take the next question.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Rose Shingira, Vice Chair Budget. How is the Finance and Economic Planning Department currently organized? Paint a picture indicating reporting relationship from the governor to the 5 key directorates within the department.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Basically, the apex of the organizational structure of the county government in relation to finance, the apex is Office of the Governor, followed by the Office of the County Executive Committee member in charge of finance and economic planning. And then the third level is the Office of the County Chief Officer, Finance and Economic Planning. And below the Office of the CCO, we have 5 directorates. And the first one being Budget and Economic Planning. The second one is Internal Audit. The third one is Revenue Management. The fourth one is Directorate of Accounting Services. And the fifth one is Directorate of Supply Chain Management.
Honorable Rose, you are comfortable? We move to the next question.
Satisfied, Chair.
Okay, let's go to Honorable Lilian Kidale.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Lilian Kidale, Vice Chairperson, Pick and Pack Committee. Economic planning is key in the management of your department and county government at large. Kindly take us through the budgetary process by stating the documents and the required timelines, and office responsible in ensuring compliance as required by Article 221 of the Constitution. You got it?
Maybe if you can repeat, kindly.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Economic planning is the key in the management of your department and county government at large. Kindly take us through the process, the budgetary process by stating the documents and the required timelines, and the office responsible in ensuring compliance as required by Article 221 of the Constitution of Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you. Basically, the budget making process is a cycle. It's an endless cycle, and it starts with the budget circular, which basically is issued by the CC Finance to all county government entities, agencies and departments, and it should be issued by 30th of August each year. The second document which should be issued and presented to the county assembly is the county annual development plan, which will be submitted to the County Assembly on 1st September each year, and the responsible office is the Office of the CC Finance. The second document is county budget, is the county budget outlook and review paper, that is CBROM. Basically, the first is to submit the document to county executive by 30th September, and then that is the responsibility of CC Finance, and then by 21st it has to be submitted to the County Assembly. And then the second document is county fiscal strategy paper, which is supposed to be submitted on 28th of February each year, alongside debt management strategy paper on the same date, 28th February each year. And then the County Assembly has to approve, that is the responsibility of the County Executive Committee Member of Finance. The County Assembly has to adopt and approve the CFSP within 14 days, so the responsibility of the County Assembly. And then after CFSP, the CC Finance also has to submit budget estimates to the County Assembly on 30th April each year. And then on June 30th every year, the County Assembly has to approve the budget estimates with or without recommendations, together with the appropriation bill. And then the final documents for the funding of the budget when it comes to on-source revenue is the finance bill, which has to be passed on 30th September. Thank you. Also, that's the responsibility of the CC Finance. Thank you.
A confirmation, you said the finance bill is supposed to be passed by
30th September as per the PFM.
30th September.
Yes.
Thank you. Honorable Kidali, are you satisfied? We said any other follow-up question can be noted down and can be asked towards the end, honorable members. Is that quite in order?
Satisfied, Chair.
Okay, we can proceed to Honorable Shambi. You take the next question.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good afternoon, Honorable Laban.
Afternoon, too.
My name is Honorable Peter Shambi. I'm a special elect MCA. I have one question for you. My question is, you are coming to office as a result of a crisis which is largely attributed to the department you have been nominated to serve. Briefly paint a picture as to what this crisis is and what went wrong and what can be done to raise this matter and ensure such breaches do not happen again. I'll repeat. These are several questions in one. So you're coming to office as a result of a crisis which largely is attributed to the department you have been nominated to serve in. So number one, we want you to briefly paint a picture as to what this crisis is. Then number two, paint a picture on what went wrong and what can be done to raise this matter and ensure that these breaches do not happen again. Clear?
Thank you, Chair. Basically, this is the toughest moment of the county because the crisis, it is in the public domain that the medics are on strike. It's almost a month now. They have not gone back to work. And basically this was informed by the unremitted third-party deductions, that is from the bank loans, pensions, union dues, and SACCOs deductions. So basically, I can say it was a fault from our department. I can accept that. And moving forward, because I have just looked at the figures, and they are quite huge, and it's something which can be resolved within one financial year. So we need to make some hard decisions on how we are going to resolve that. And considering that the negotiations are still ongoing, and some of the irreducible minimum have already been met, and partially have been met, and others have been still being met. And for me to avert this crisis again, as a department, if I'm approved by this House, I can confirm that when we are paying salaries and I have deducted the deductions which form part of their salaries, they will be paid in full. Each staff deductions will be remitted in full, so that we can stop digging the hole which is there and trying to fill it. So by the time, let's say in the next 3 financial years, we'll be providing a budget requirement with the help of this House and this committee of the Budget and Appropriation Committee on how we are going to cater for these deductions, because in nature they are pending bills, and currently in this financial year budget we don't have any recurrent pending bill to pay these deductions. So in my view, I believe we'll be having a supplementary budget to see how much we are going to cater for the pending bills, specifically for the deductions for the whole staff. It's not part of it's not only the medics, but the entire county government staff. Thank you.
Honorable Shambi, you are satisfied?
No, I feel like the question has not been answered specifically on what exactly went wrong, because you've clearly indicated that there is a crisis which was occasioned by deductions that are not remitted. Up to there, I think we are together. Now, as a strategy to avert, as a strategy to try and rescue the situation, we are supposed to do a supplementary budget. So there is a gap there in terms of this money that was recovered. It means it was budgeted for and it was there. So where is it? So that now we can say we have this amount that was not remitted, but we need again to, how is it a pending bill? That's what I'm trying to understand. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I don't think I will answer that question satisfactorily, because these are also the questions which we have been also asking ourselves. Where is this money which was deducted and what was not remitted? But I can assure this House, if I get opportunity to serve that office, I will able to unearth on where the monies were deducted and if there were diversions, because basically if we are paying salaries, we are paying at gross, and we keep asking ourselves where are these monies taken to, because I can confirm to you that the monies are not there. So where are they? So these are some of the questions which I will request these committees to give me time so that I can unearth what really happened.
Thank you. I believe you acted as you're working initially as a budget director. Was that right?
Yes.
Your functions were partly also were you also helping in checking the implementation of the budget?
Thank you, Chair. Basically, that's part of my responsibility as a director budget.
Did you notice those anomalies early enough, because some of them accrued from early years as 2022? Did you really notice that some of the deductions were not being paid or remitted?
We noticed, and it was brought to in my attention that there are some unremitted deductions, but the figures were not. The figures they kept on changing, but it was brought to my attention.
Okay, and you took some measures. Maybe you did communication, some kind of action that you took as a director at that position that you are here holding, maybe to help in mitigating that. You did some effort towards the same?
Okay, thank you, Chair. Basically, we tried to do some mitigations, but because of the budget constraints, we could not be able to budget for the pending bills for the deductions, because at some point it became very difficult explaining to staff or to wananchi why are we budgeting for deductions as part of pending bills, and they are previously budgeted in the previous budget. So there was that tug of war, why should we budget for them, and they informed part of the original budgets which were there. So at some point we did not budget for them.
So what differently are you going to do? How are you going to do it differently? Because you're still in the same government, still largely in the same department, in the same position that you are somehow unable to have advised the budget part. So I really wanted to know what differently. You're the same person in the same department. Now you want to move to a higher position, but what differently? I mean, what new things, or which new methods are you going to bring in place, doing something differently?
Okay, thank you, Chair. Considering that we are already in a crisis, and we have already identified where the problem is, as I stated earlier, we need to find ways on how, in fact, we are going to stop to draw a line, making sure that moving forward with the salaries which we are going to pay next, we are going to pay gross. And then, as I've stated, we are already in a crisis. It's a consultative way. We need to work with the county assembly, with all stakeholders, on how we are going to move out from this hole. And because our citizens are already suffering, I will urge this House, if we bring the supplementary budget to factor in the pending bills for the deductions, I believe the House, in its own wisdom, to pass the budget and the pending bills. But it's something I've also stated clearly, that is something which we need to get answers on where the monies went, so that wananchi can be able to get satisfied when we are coming up with the budgets of paying the pending bills of the statutory deductions. Because these monies, they are not going to get them from nowhere. They are going to get some on some of the projects and some of the programs.
This is a matter the really members want to ventilate on. I can advise members we can ventilate on this issue towards the end. Is that okay? So that you can...
It's a follow-up question, Madam Chair. On the same.
Chair, I also have a follow-up question.
That's why I was saying, can we do that towards the end?
No, we can't do that.
On that matter?
We can do that on a chair.
Yes.
Because this question has to be answered satisfactorily for us to go to the next question. So it will be ridiculous to say that we will do it at the end. It's the most contentious issue anyway.
Honorable members, if I may request that this particular question number 5 becomes question number 17 in our list, so that we get a full answer to it, even if leaving at midnight, because all of us have a question to ask around it. So let us rule it is not satisfactorily answered, so it will have to be satisfactorily answered at the end, so that we finish with these other questions and maybe now accumulate. Question number 17 will be developed by all of us.
Is that in order, members? That becomes question number 17, so that we can deliberate on it. Because we can take the whole day talking about these questions and we have other questions to ask. I think that is, well, so we go to the next question, which was supposed to be asked by Honorable Anissa. Kindly proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, sir. Anissa Mwakiro is my name. I have one question for you, CPA Laban Kenyai. There is some criticism from members of the public about your stint in Taveta Water Company Limited, where you served as finance manager. What is your take on this, while clearly stating your achievements and challenges while you served there? Again, there is some criticism from the members of the public about your stint in Taveta Water Company Limited, where you served as a finance manager. What is your take on this, while clearly stating your achievements and challenges while you served there? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of criticism, I don't know to what perspective, because it has never been brought to my attention if the public have been complaining on any of my decisions in discharging my responsibilities. So I think if it can be expounded further. On the achievements, basically when I was reported to Taveta as a finance manager, I found that their audited financial statement, they got an adverse opinion. And it was my responsibility to try and see how we are going to move from adverse opinion to qualified and maybe unqualified opinion. And basically I can report to this house that by the 3 years which I was there, we never reported an adverse opinion. So basically that's one of my achievements. Also, I was in charge of the fleet management when I was in Taveta. And I can clearly state that it is during my time when you couldn't have any challenges with Utabuza, motorcycles or exhausters stuck at the parking yard of Taveta. I had clear strategies on how to manage fleet. Also, it's during my time when Taveta Water and Sewage Company, I really pushed for purchase of motorcycles for the meter readers and technical officers, which was under my responsibility. So basically those are some of the major achievements. Also, when I was in Taveta, they didn't have a finance manual, and by the time I was moving out, they had a finance manual. And then they didn't have a standard operating procedures. By the time I was moving out, they had one standard operating procedure for the company. On the challenges, there are vast challenges, from political interferences, high levels of NRW, which really affected our collections, and high cost of operations from the electricity, which hampered they really drain on our collections. So basically those are some of the challenges and achievements. On the issue of criticism, I really like to get what kind of criticism, so that I can explain further.
Honorable Anissa, what do you, any additional issue about the criticism issue, maybe?
Sir, basically the criticism zeroed along the procurement plan he was implementing. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, you can maybe respond to that. And maybe also, I also wanted to understand, you said you also worked for the banana plant in Taveta. And I believe it's not a coincidence that there's also a lot of issues on that plant. And here comes Taveta. So is it a coincidence that in the places you work, there are issues?
Basically, that's not an issue. Yeah, it is an issue of governance, because on the issue of banana processing, there are some conditions which, not only banana processing plant, even the 𝐏𝐻𝐒, the FLOCA projects, there are some conditions which we really need to fulfill before the donor puts its money, even the water sector trust fund. So issue of banana was about the county contribution, which the county did not remit its funds. The monies were budgeted for, but they are not remitted. On the issue of criticism, still I don't get it clear. How am I criticized on the issue of procurement of Taveta, implementation of Taveta, and basically I was in charge of finances?
Chairman, I have a question, a follow-up question on the same.
On the Taveta one?
Yes.
Would you kindly note it down? You're almost about to finish. You want to finish all these questions very fast, and then I'll give you the opportunity to ask the question.
Obliged, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Laban, I hope you are also taking a mental note, or you're noting on your paper that question number 5 and question number 6, members will still want to review them. Honorable Azar, kindly take question number 7.
Thank you, Chair. Ndugu Laban, good afternoon. My name is Azardin, MCA Card Landlord, and also the Chairperson, Public Works, Housing, Roads, Infrastructure and Energy Committee. I've got a question for you. The supply chain management system is key in the management of county affairs. Which document must be prepared after the approval of appropriation bill for the budget to allow budget implementation? And kindly briefly explain what it entails. I'll repeat. The supply chain management system is key in the management of county affairs. Which document must be prepared after the approval of the appropriation bill for the budget to allow budget implementation? And I'll briefly explain what it entails. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Basically, after the budget has been approved, the document which is supposed to be prepared is the procurement plan. And it entails a plan on how the entity or the county is going to procure for its services, goods and works. And it basically draws the costing from the budget which has been approved, the procurement process which is going to be used, is it an open tender, restricted tender, pre-qualification, the timelines of the procurement process from tender advertisement, evaluation, notification of award, and closing of the contract. So basically those are some of the components of the procurement plan.
Mheshimiwa Azar, will beg you, same as everybody else, note down a follow-up question. I know one of it will be this particular financial year, how far are we with the procurement plan? Kindly note that one. We'll still answer that at the end of this question and answer. We'll only award marks to how best you have tried to answer at this point. At the end of it, you may not earn any new marks. So kindly try and answer to the best of your abilities. Mheshimiwa Patricia, kindly take the next question.
I'm Patricia, Chairperson Youth and Sports. Have a question for you. What is IFMIS? You explain to us what is IFMIS, and then briefly state and explain the IFMIS payment process. What is IFMIS? And briefly state and explain the IFMIS payment process. Thank you.
Thank you. Basically, IFMIS is a integrated financial management system. It's a Oracle-based solution of the enterprise resource planning, which is basically used by the counties and national government for its financial matters. The payment process in the IFMIS, it starts with invoicing, and then the second process is validation, and then the third process is approval by respective departmental AIE holders, that is accounting officers, and then the fourth one is approval by the head of accounts, and then the final part is electronic payment.
Okay, thank you. Kindly Mheshimiwa Mandau, take the next question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Gennard Mondao Maganga, representing Goreward, also minority leader. My question is briefly explain to us the process of internet banking.
Okay, the process of internet banking picks from the electronic banking from the IFMIS, and basically it has two levels. The first level is normally we call it IB1, which is approval by head of accounting services, and the final approval we call it IB2 by the CCO Finance and Economic Planning, and all these are done at the central bank operations account before the funds are transmitted to the beneficiary's account. Thank you.
Thank you. And before we take the next question, I want to acknowledge the president of Julius Mariki from TV47, Jimmy Landy from County Government, Department of County Government of Taveta, Department of Finance, Enrique Ngo, County Government, Department of Finance, Mheshimiwa Mzuga, kindly take the next question.
Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Mwalimu Lawrence Mwanjala Mzuga, MC Mbulolo, and Deputy Majority Leader and a member of this committee. Honorable Laban, I have one question for you. Pending bills or pending bill is a thorny issue in this county and the country at large. How do you intend to clear the existing pending bills, and what measures are you going to employ to avoid additional pending bills going forward? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. It is true that the pending bills is a thorny issue, not only to the county government of Taita, but the entire country. And the only way to clear the pending bills is to avoid creation of new pending bills and the budgeting for the existing pending bills on a basis of reducing them financial year by financial year. So basically, on how to avoid these pending bills is to try to live within our means. We should not be having unrealistic budgets. And then in terms of on-source revenue projections. And then the second thing on how to reduce the pending bills is through procurement process. We should expedite on our procurement process such that after the budget has been approved and the procurement plan has been developed, we should move with speed
such that we should award our services, works and goods so that they can be supplied and the works can be completed on time before the second quarter of the financial year. And the works have been completed maybe latest by February of the preceding year. And the completion certificates are brought to the finance for payment so that they could not be crossing over to the next financial year. Another thing is on prudent use of financial resources, because basically most of these spending bills emanate from with the lack of discipline, some resources are being diverted to some other, not say urgent issues. And then also we need, as a county government, we need to up our game in terms of on-source revenue mobilization so that we can be collecting 100% or optimally in order to cater for our works, goods and services so that we could not create much pending bills. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, Mheshimiwa Uncle Mwatate.
Thank you, Chair. My names are Joseph Kennedy Molega, aka Uncle MC Mwatate. How are you, Mr. Laban?
I'm fine.
I have a question for you. You can note down. Resource mobilization is key in the running of the county affairs. Enumerate 10 county on-source revenue, low-hanging revenue streams that you are going to ensure the county maximize. I repeat again. Resource mobilization is key in the running of the county affairs. Enumerate 10 county on-source revenue, low-hanging revenue streams that you are going to ensure the county maximize. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I can just list the revenue streams which are as per our Finance Act, which they aid in resource mobilization. And the first one is on the FIF, that is user fees forgone for the health department. The second one is parking fees. The third one is parking, is the cess. The fourth one is market rates. And then we have outdoor advertisement. The sixth one is liquor licensing. And then the seventh one we have SBPs, that is single business permits. And then the eighth one we have mining licenses. And the ninth one we have land rates. And the 10th one we have building approval plan rates. So basically those are some of the low-lying revenue streams which are within our mandates for resource mobilization. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next question, Honorable Zai.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. Laban.
Good afternoon.
My name is Stephen Zaimkana, MCA Marungu Ward, Deputy Majority Whip, currently acting Chair of Chairs. I have one question for you. You have had a considerable stay at the Finance Department, which makes you conversant with the revenue collection challenges bedeviling our county. Briefly explain and justify 5 strategies you are going to employ to enhance our county on-source revenue to ensure we collect optimal. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Basically, there are various strategies for revenue enhancement in order to deter the challenges we are currently facing. And the first one is to have effective inspectorate units or enforcement units, because the current setup is not such effective to deliver. And the second one is to have policy and legal frameworks on revenue administration and collection, updating the valuation roles. So because for some time we are using an updated valuation role. The third one is continuous training and capacity building of the revenue and enforcement staff, because I'm sure that the current revenue officers and enforcement staff, since they were employed, they have never been capacity built. So basically, most of them, they don't know what they are doing. The third one is digitization on revenue collection, especially parkings. We should introduce USSD code when collecting our revenues. The fourth one is integration of revenue systems, so that if we are applying maybe for single business permits, it can be applied alongside liquor license and maybe building approval or other licenses. The fifth one, I'll be having a monthly roundtable meeting, discussions with the departmental heads, that is CCOs, on how we are going to bridge the gaps and leakages, and coming up on strategies on how we are going to bridge those gaps. The sixth one is in the issue of forming up a monitoring and evaluation unit within a revenue management, which will be giving me accurate data in terms of revenue trends on why and where we are performing well, and the reasons why there is a downfall trend in some of the revenue trends. So basically, those are some of the strategies which I will employ to enhance our revenue. The last one is also on the issue of enactment of Sand Harvesting Act. I'm sure as a county we don't have one, so I will still insist that we should have a Sand Harvesting Act in order to enhance our revenues. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, Honorable Kimuyu.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, good afternoon, Brother Laban.
Afternoon.
Yes, I have just one question for you. Briefly state why audit is important in an organization, and explain the types of audit opinions. Let me repeat. Briefly state why audit is important in an organization, and explain the types of audit opinion. Thank you, Chair.
Well, thank you. Basically, audit is very important for any entity because it gives an assurance that the public resources are being used in a prudent and an efficient manner. And it also tries to look at the internal controls of the organization and risk issues facing a company or an entity. And it also instills confidence on the financial statements of an organization for decision making for the stakeholders and public at large. Thank you. So on the audit opinions, basically you have 4 audit opinions, and the first one is being unqualified or unmodified report. This is the best report an organization can get. The second one is unqualified report. This is the second one an organization can get, and basically this it's more of a clean but not such clean report because there are some issues which the auditor has not agreed with the entity. The third one is a disclaimer report, and this one basically there are some issues where auditor does not want to give an opinion or wants to distance himself or herself on giving opinion based on some disagreements with the entity. And the last one is adverse report, which is basically the worst report an entity can get. Thank you.
Next question, Honorable 𝐕𝐄𝐓𝐓𝐈𝐍𝐆, highest ranking member of the House.
Thank you so much, Chair. Mr. Kinyai, good afternoon or good morning.
Good afternoon.
My name is Jonas Muganga Solomon, MC Ngolia Ward, and Majority Chief Whip in this House. First of all, Mr. Kinyai, congratulations for securing this nomination appointment from Taveta. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chair, allow me to remind Bwana Laban that the docket, the department you are likely to take over is very sensitive, and you should prepare to carry the burden. Okay, I'm being advised to put the mic in the mouth. So, Mr. Kinyai, you prepare to carry the burden. This is a very sensitive department, so God willing, you are going to take over this office. Mr. Kinyai, I have a very simple question for you. As the finance and economic planning accounting officer, you are responsible for preparing quarterly financial reports to be submitted to the county assembly and other entities by your CCM. Which section of the PFM Act 2012 will you be complying with? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, in preparation of the quarterly financial reports for submission to the county assembly and to the cabinet and to the county assembly, I'll be complying with section 166, subsection 4 of the PFM Act 2012. Thank you.
Thank you for a brief answer. Next question, Honorable Sariki. Kindly take the next question.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. Laban.
Good afternoon.
My name is Rose Sariki, nominated MC and Vice Chair Tourism. And I have a question for you. Explain the role of County Audit Committee as regards to governance, internal control system and risk management. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Basically, the role of Audit Committee, they have three broad roles. And the first one is to follow up on the recommendations of the internal, external audit reports, recommendations. Also, they also follow up on the implementation of the recommendations given by the Public Accounts and Investments Committee of this House. The second responsibility is to offer oversight on the matters of audit, governance, internal control and risk management. And the third role is to give recommendations to the county executive on matters relating to internal audit issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question. Honorable Matolo, kindly take the next question.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Isaac Matolo, MCA Matawat, and I have one question for you. Name the two select committees in the county assembly you will often be working with, and who are the current respective chairpersons? Name the 2 select committees in the county assembly you will often be working with, and who are the current respective chairpersons? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The 2 select committees which I'll be working hand in hand with, one is Budget and Appropriations Committee, which is being chaired by Honorable Jimmy Momidi, the MCA for Mundanyumbale Ward, and the second committee is Public Account and Investment Committee, chaired by Amos Makalo, MCA representing Kasgau Ward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Laban. Actually, we have come to the end of the preset questions, but within them, as earlier guided, members were noting down any follow-up questions and any matters that they needed to clarify from you. Before I open it up to honorable members to individually ask any follow-up questions, I want to ask my own follow-up question, and this stems from revenue collection and revenue targets. Kindly, briefly, but to the best of your ability, considering that your last or your current appointment is at the Director Budget, indicates to this House, and noting that the general public of Taita Taveta is following this interview or vetting live, express within your understanding of the office, in a summary, what is the status of the county as at now for this financial year budget implementation? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The status of current financial year implementation of this financial year budget, I can say it's below 15% of the, or below 10%, considering that in terms of revenue collection, we normally collect averagely on source inclusive of FIF per month, averagely at 40 million. The rest, we heavily rely on the exchequer disbursement from the National Treasury. And with what happened with the demonstrations, the finance bill of the Finance Bill 2024 was thrown out, and there was recommendations for the review of county budget allocations, which had affected the disbursement of the month of July. So as we speak to date, we have only received the disbursement of 1 month, and we are not able to express it because we are still seeking clearance from the COB, and possibly by the end of this week we'll be able to get clearance. So on the status of current financial year budget implementation in terms of absorption rate, we are still doing poor because of the issues of cash flow challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, but you also note that Our procurement process is not paid on the disbursement of that particular month. We are not on cash basis payment. And two, you've mentioned that on average we collect roughly 40 million, including FIF. For me, that calculates to a best of 480 million a month, a year. Is this something to worry about when we combine on-source revenue plus FIF with a target of around 480? Is it something to worry about, leave us worried? And if so, what do you have in mind if you get this position? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of procurement, the procurement process is still going. There are some tenders I believe they are advertised on the dailies, and the process is still going on. On the issue of combining FIF and on-source revenue, FIF is one of our own revenue streams. So basically at the end of the day, we will have to report it as our own source revenue. Yes, I'm worried because if you combine, if we have like 10 revenue streams and the only one revenue streams for the health is giving us 50% of the total collection, that's something which we need to worry ourselves. But from my previous questions which I was asked, I have clearly stated on the mechanisms on how we are going to enhance on our own source revenue. And that a bigger chunk will go towards affecting or towards benefiting the other 9 revenue streams which I had mentioned, excluding the FIF. So those are some of the strategies which I'll be implementing. I'll be working closely, I'll be following them up. Basically, when I get this opportunity, I will dedicate myself bigger time I'll be on matters revenue collection, because that's where we have a bigger problem and we really need money to fund our budgets. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll allow my co-chair to ask a new question and then we move to the rest of the honorable members. Whoever catches the eye of the committee chair first.
Thank you, my fellow co-chair. My questions to Laban, just follow-ups ones. One, you had talked about the IFMIS validation, that procedure. There is validation. Maybe you can explain to us what is validation before approvals. What do you mean by validation? That's one. Two, you can also agree with me that even the position you're holding, as much as you can say, there is a lot of political interference. Tomorrow you might receive instructions from the governor to pay so and so. For example, look at the pending bills and the payment instructions for a certain contractor, and according to you, maybe you have been instructed to use the FIFO for payment, but here comes a contractor that has been pursued by maybe the governor, or you have been instructed to pay something else instead of what was supposed to be paid. I really want to understand how you are prepared to handle that kind of pressure and political interference. I will really want to hear from your end. Then you have also talked about challenges of cash flow. We are aware now we are in September. We are yet to receive August, and even the July one has not been expended as such. And you talked that you are going to stop, you have efforts to stop these statutory deductions. I am really concerned how, because as you're speaking now, already 3 pay slips I'm sure they might have been developed or they have been released already with the deductions done. And you are promising us that when you take office, this will end. I don't know, how are you going to handle the challenges of the cash flow for the betterment of making sure some of the deductions are remitted on time? That is some of the follow-up I have. Maybe I will ask others as members proceed asking questions, but maybe shed light on those few that are captured as we shed more. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chair. On the 𝐕𝐄𝐓 validation process, basically after invoicing, the second process I said is the validation process. This is the stage where we normally commit the funds to specific economic item so that you can secure it. It cannot be used to charge any other expense. On the issue of political interference, yes, I can concur with you. There are a lot of political interference when it comes to handling these payments, and I believe any pending bill which is has been verified and approved for payment for a contractor, supplier, or any service provider, it is rightfully for him or her to be paid. And on the issue of how, if I can handle political pressure from maybe His Excellency the Governor or any other person to divert to pay something else apart from what was agreed. I believe we all know that before payments have been, after electronic payments, the payments have been transferred to iBank. There is a list which has already submitted to the Office of the Controller of Budgets, and I will highly encourage to stick to what has been provided to the Office of the Controller of Budgets for the purposes of requesting funds, because we have been having a problem that is at least a certain contractor, maybe the voucher has been captured up to electronic payment, and then by the time it reaches electronic payment, it has already issued a notification to the KRA that certain so and so has been paid. And if you try to divert or not to pay and pay someone else, KRA comes to demand for the money to the person who have already been paid. So I will clearly be prudent on what has been said and submitted to the Control of Budget. It is the one which has been submitted, which has been at the end will form part of the payments. On the statutory deductions, as I stated earlier, we are trying to bring to a stop, and I can confirm that as the county executive, we are 2 months ahead. We have already paid our salaries for our staff for the months of July and August, and the deductions have not been remitted for those 2 months. But tough times calls for tough measures, and basically what we are going to do, the request which you have requested for the salaries for the month of September, bigger chunk will go towards offsetting the arrears for the month of July and August.
Thank you. I will maybe make some more questions later if members don't ask. And I want to give this chance to honorable members.
Sure.
I note there's Honorable Mzuga who had a question. I note there's Honorable Dorcas who had a follow-up question. And then there's Honorable Kimoyo. So we take the first 3 questions, and I give chance to Honorable Mzuga, who was the first person to have had a follow-up question. Now, Honorable, your question is still up to date, or it has been responded to in the process? I give you that chance.
Yeah, you give me the chance.
Okay, you go ahead.
My question still remains on what you have been following up with our nominee on the issue, the non-remittance, the contentious issue with our current medics, that they are claiming that their money was deducted and it was not remitted. And it is ridiculous for our nominee to tell us that when we give him this new position, he'll be in a position to unleash or unearth where the money went. And that he is currently our immediate former director budget. And you had asked him a very clear question. What are the new strategies he's going to apply, which maybe he failed to apply during his tenure as the director budget? And according to my view, he has fumbled over it. And Bwana Chair, this is the answer which will give us a way forward as far as the medic strike is concerned. And I think he plus other officers are in a better position to answer that question, because it will not be prudent for us to elevate somebody with such a baggage of 800, 700 million, not known where it has gone, and we assume that when you elevate this person, then we are going to get that money without clearly him showing us how. That is my thinking. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope the question is clear. As you respond to that question, also clarify to the honorable members. And I also first want to understand the deductions, the values we are hearing about are not only for the medics. I don't want to put, you don't want to find yourself in a crisis tomorrow. You agree to pay the medics, then the ECT teachers demand the deductions also, and they go on strike. The environment, the enforcement, whoever. So as you respond to that, also clarify to this honorable member, are the deductions we are hearing about only for the medics or for the entire county government of officers?
Okay, thank you, Chair. Maybe what I can comment on this issue of the deductions, the issue of strikes for the medics, as much as our wananchi are suffering and the sick are suffering, it's somehow a blessing in disguise, because it has given us an opportunity to know that, to realize the hole which we are in. And I can say that these deductions are not only for the medics, it's for the entire county government executive staff. Their deductions have not been submitted or remitted. And then the follow-up question of Honorable Mzuga, from the position, from where I sit as a director budget, when you are making our budgets and preparing the wage bill budgets for the county, we normally budget for the gross. This inclusive of the basic, commuter allowance, and any third-party deductions for the respective staff. So it's also a question which I've been also asking myself, where are these deductions being taken to? Because we have budgeted for it, and at the end of the day, you hear deductions have not been remitted. So if we can understand the roles of the budgets vis-a-vis the roles of other directorates, you can clearly know that my role ends up at the budgeting process, of which I did. Under the issue of deductions, it's not only unique to Taita Taveta, it's a cross-cutting to the 47 counties. But notwithstanding, we should stand alone. We should move towards being to stand alone as the first county remitting deductions. So as I stated earlier, we should bring to an end, we should draw a line making sure that all deductions are being submitted, and at the end of the day we should come up with answers and tell the public and the members of the staff where are their monies were taken to. But for now, it's not easy for me to give a comprehensive answer where the monies are, because the monies are not there.
Is that fair, Honorable Mzuga?
Yeah, by the virtue that he has said clearly his role ends with the budgeting process.
Okay.
I am satisfied.
Yeah. You have a chance on the report writing to give your further comments on the same, so we'll hold it at that point. Is that okay?
No, bro.
Okay. Thank you. We go to Honorable Dorcas.
Chair, are you forgetting my name? You shouldn't forget my name, Chair. It looks so obnoxious.
I know your name's Honorable Dorcas, and I can even call you by the other names.
Perfect.
Yes, thank
you, Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. Laban Mbelenga Kinyai.
Afternoon.
Mr. Chairman, maybe as a follow-up, he can just give us a figure of the statutory deductions that have not been remitted, because we are reading on social media. So far, the House has not been furnished with any information in regards to that. Is it 700 million? Is it 800 million? Is it 2 billion? It's important if we would get the right figure from him. And then, I am not quite satisfied on the roadmap that he has given in regards to how we are going to avoid ourselves from the same mess. What is he going to do so that our county executive staff will not be found in such kind of a mess that they'll be having their remittance, their deductions not remitted on time, for instance? What is the exact roadmap? What is he going to do that we will not find ourselves there again? Okay, I hope I'm clear. Yeah, the amount, the exact amount, the exact figure of the remittances, and is that good English? Sorry. The exact amount of the deductions, and what he's going to do so for us not to be found in the same mess again. And then from there, Chair, maybe I can now proceed to other questions, because I have quite a lot of them. It's just a clarity. It's just a clarity if the House will have mercy on him to have him as our new CCO Finance. So I just need some 2-3 clarities if you would answer these ones first.
Thank you. It's not about the House having mercy, Honorable Member. It's about him convincing the Honorable House that is capable and suitable to hold the position. So it's not about mercy. I wanted to clarify that, Honorable Dorcas. He's here to convince and show us his stability to hold this position. So we can respond to those questions.
Okay, thank you, Chair. The figure of the statutory pending bills, as for now, it's more than 800 million. But I can not to confirm the exact figure, but it's not less than 800 million. Yeah. And then with the issue of roadmap, as I stated earlier, we need to draw a line from the beginning of this disbursement, this financial year to be precise, that all salaries be paid at gross. And then, on the pending deductions, as I stated, I'll be working with this Honorable House to bring up a supplementary to factor in partially the deductions for part of the deductions to be paid in this financial year, because these pending bills are recurrent in nature, and the budget which we have now, it doesn't have any recurrent provision of any recurrent pending bills. So it's a matter of stopping further holding of deductions beginning from this financial year and trying to reduce gradually the existing unremitted statutory deductions. Thank you.
Honorable Laban, I want you to give me an ideal situation that will make you not pay the deductions, assuming you have received the disbursement. That includes the gross salary of July. Assuming you receive, what can make you, what can really cause that the deductions cannot be remitted? Just give that as, maybe these honorable members will understand the reasons that might have resulted for a 12-year non-remittance, or even more than 12-year non-remittance of deduction. Just an ideal situation.
Okay, thank you. But I don't want to, through Chair, I don't want to preempt on what I'll be, maybe the way I said I'm going to unearth. So I don't want to assume this what will happen because the figure is too huge and I don't want to give assumptions.
The causes? Just a hint. Because you are the director of the budget director for a period of how many years?
1 year plus.
1 year.
Yes.
1 year plus.
Yes.
What might be the ideal situation? Because these are the guys you meet and discuss. You might have asked them some questions. What might have caused in an ideal situation? What do you think?
Maybe one of the things which could have caused this unremitted, because the figure is too huge, yes. But sometimes you'll find that our hospitals don't have medical drugs and pharmaceutical items, and maybe it can cause one of the pressures that we need to restock our hospitals. And the only cash flow which we have, it is unremitted deductions. So you may end up forced to use that unremitted funds to pay for those medicals.
That one is in itself an illegality.
Definitely. All these things are illegal.
Okay. Thank you.
Chairman.
I will give you a chance, Honorable Dorcas, again. Let me pass it over to Kimuyu, Honorable Kimuyu, because then I'll come back to you.
It's the same follow-up.
Same follow-up?
Yes.
Okay.
Chair, I'm a bit concerned on how Mr. Laban is responding to this matter, because indeed it is the elephant in the room, and still he has not convinced me on the roadmap. He has also not convinced me in the question you have asked on what exactly happened that they were not remitted. Why am I saying so, Chair? It's because the National Treasury, under the leadership of His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, have given money in this count fully, including the money to buy drugs or any other thing that will be of use in our hospitals. So I don't understand why he's not being generous enough with information on reasons as to why the deductions were not done and the roadmap that is supposed to give, because everything was budgeted for. And the risk comes in, Chair, when he says that he would really urge the House to have a supplementary budget of something that was budgeted. In that alone, we are doing a supplementary for corruption. You understand, Chair?
I understand.
So please, I am kindly requesting again that let him give a roadmap on the same, even if it is, even if it is just 1 point.
Okay, I get you, Honorable Dorcas, but let me also add or advise on 1 or 2 things. Laban is yet to be vetted and to give us a future plan. He might be the only person we have for us to release our questions on as far as the deductions are concerned. But I feel we might also be directing our energies to the wrong person.
Which it's not wrong.
I feel we might, it is very evident that we might need to, we have a debt with the CCO in office by then and the CC in office by then those questions can be punched to him or to them respectively, because those are the substantive officers in office by then. What Laban is giving us is a plan on what he feels he will do to avert the occurrence of that. And if we feel we are not convinced on the plans he's giving, then we can always have a discussion on the same. What he's giving is a roadmap of what he thinks he can do to stop that. And if you have something to add on what Honorable Member has asked, because she feels unconvinced on the plans you have to avert. We are not pinning you to answer to us the questions of exactly where did the deductions go, but share questions. You can respond to the question of exactly what plans you have if you become the CCO.
Thank you,
what
Chair.
exactly plans you put on place to help us not find ourselves with another 800 million in the next 1 year to come.
Thank you, Chair, for that direction. Basically, there is no rocket science about this thing. The monies were deducted, they are not remitted. We can call it corruption, budgeting for corruption, but at the end of the day, we have institutions which are supposed to investigate and unearth what happened. But even if they are investigating what happened, are we supposed not to have something in the budget to cure what happened? And then, as a commitment to this House, I have clearly stated that we need to draw a line and make sure salaries are being paid at gross. That's the only thing which you can do. There's nothing else you can do about it. You have to pay salaries on gross. So there is nothing else you can add on it. As a CCO Finance, if I am approved, I'll be paying on gross. Thank you.
Move to Honorable Kiwoyu. I hope Dorcas holds water for now.
Chair, you've already given a direction, and I abide by what my chair says.
Thank you. Let's go to Honorable Kiwoyu.
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy you have given the right direction on that issue. On Laban, Mr. Laban, I have two issues here. One is about your plans when you happen to be approved by this House, the decentralization of finances to the departments. Because when you look at the way things are done, it's as if everything is within the Office of Finance at the Governor's office, whereby the departments are not able, even when it comes to pending bills and also other payments, the departments depends upon the only office of the governor, that you are the finance or the finance office. So I want to say something about that area, the decentralization of the finances to the departments, even when it comes also to pending bills. Another one is about the municipality financial autonomy, whereby already we have three municipalities who are crying that they have not been given the autonomy as required by the law. What do you say about that? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of decentralization of financial matters, this was a game changer, and it's my commitment that I will pick it up and decentralize the entire financial matters, including payment process for recurrent and development, and financial reporting to the departments, so that each and every accounting officer can have a responsibility when called upon to answer queries regarding to their departments. On the issues of municipalities, as you have clearly put it, they are crying for autonomy. But what I can say,
Mwatate municipality was supposed to be a benchmark for the other two municipalities, that is Taveta and 𝐏𝐻𝐒. But to some extent it has been lagging behind. And what we are doing, we are going to create a vote line to do all these municipalities, because they report their financials separately from the counties, to be a standalone, because they have their own boards and they have their own staff. So it's something which I will really be pushing, so that they can be doing their own functions to do with finances at their own. Thank you.
Chairman.
Mheshimiwa Kimuyu, are you satisfied? Okay. Mheshimiwa Dorcas.
Thank you, Chair. I have another concern as well. We have projects that were never implemented from the year 2022 to the current financial year, which were equally budgeted. Kindly, maybe shed some light on how you'll make sure that all those projects that were not implemented will be implemented for purposes of service delivery to the mwananchi. That is one. And then another one, what is the new energy that you'll bring in office? Because everybody is crying, be it the contractors, be it our staff, everybody is crying in regards to how our financial matters are handled. So we are all in agreement that the national government has delivered money to this county in full. Nobody should deny that. And maybe the only challenge would be the delay. But what is this new thing that you bring on board, and we see this fire of everybody crying in the county, be it payment of pending bills, approval of budgets, making sure that the procurement process is done on time, and such kind of stuff. Please just give us a roadmap again on the same. One, on the implementation of all unimplemented projects that were budgeted and never happened. And number two, how you're going to bring order as the CCO finance in this county. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. On the projects implementation, those projects which were budgeted and are never implemented in the previous financial year, it is prudent that when doing the budgets for the next financial years, it is advisable that those projects are rebudgeted again for them to be implemented, because they have to form part of that procurement plan of the following financial year. And then on the issue of outcry from suppliers, contractors, and members of the staff in terms of their payments, my view is that we should focus more on enhancing our own source revenue, so that we can avoid over-reliance on exchequer disbursement or equitable share from the national government, so that we can be able to fund some of the activities and programs using our own source revenue. We should tap other revenue streams. Like the other day, there was a pronouncement by His Excellency the President on the issues of 50% park revenue sharing. It's upon the leadership of this county to follow up with legislation and policies, and to make sure that that pronouncement has been met, so that we can shelve over-reliance from the exchequer, so that we can able to ease the pressure on the exchequer and able to meet some of our demand, because it is clear that the resources are limited and the ones are too huge for us to meet with the current state of finances. Thank you.
Mheshimiwa Dorcas, are you convinced?
Chair, he has tried, but one more last one. Chair, I'm again concerned because I've been a budget committee member before I was moved to other committees, and we've been asking for very sensitive information that will help the House deal with matters that regards finances in this county. And Chair, without fear of contradiction, I have to say that the county government of Taita Taveta has not articulated well on the physical discipline of resource management in this county, clearly showing that the PFM Act 2012 has been violated in a very large way. However, I want our nominee to confirm to the House whether he'll be providing information, and this one I mean the exchequer request vis-a-vis the actual amount received on and monthly payments of both development and recurrent. If you will be providing that information, Mr. Chairman, I feel we will have abided to the PFM Act and any other law that requires us to have a discipline in financial management. So he needs to commit himself to this, whether he'll be providing information, and that includes, Chair, the exchequer request vis-a-vis the actual amount received of both recurrent and development. And then lastly, Chair, this one is a bit sensitive when he was being asked a question in regards to World Bank. I don't know whether he will proceed by answering that. Then I asked the question on the World Bank, because I have a project in my ward which had never kicked off, and he was still the finance manager in Tavevo. Kindly give me guidelines, Chair.
Okay, kindly, in the interest of time, nominee note down so that you can answer all questions. Mheshimiwa, kindly ask all your questions.
Thank you, Chairman, again for granting me this opportunity. Chair, there have been a lot of speculations in regards to the funds that were channeled in Tavevo by World Bank, and the projects that have been awarded to contractors with contract codes and contract names, but they never kicked off. And I have one where a signage was erected for the Taita Taveta University water connection from Zima. And Mr. Chairman, that signage was removed at night. I don't know by who. I don't want to castigate or say anything against anybody. So maybe he can shed some light on what exactly happened to all these speculations that we hear in regards to the World Bank funds that were channeled to the county government of Taita Taveta County through Tavevo while he was the finance manager.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Nominee, Mr. Laban. I know you highlighted Tavevo banana plant as some of your success stories in your experience when I initially asked you about that. Could this be a poison chalice, or it was just a misunderstood topic? Kindly try and answer that question in a manner to convince the House when they are writing their final report. Indeed, you are the person that Taveta has been waiting for as the CCO Finance.
Thank you very much. On the issue, if I can start on the issue of providing information, I can commit to this House that I'll be providing information as required by law. There's nothing to hide. These are public funds, and I'll be providing as required by law. On the issue of World Bank projects, World Bank Development Project and Sanitation Project under Tavevo, you have clearly mentioned that there was a signage which was erected at Taita Taveta University. But from my understanding, when I was finance manager, we need to know the project WSDP, it had various components in it. There were works, there were consultancy services, and there were goods to be procured. And each category, there was a budget for it. Under the project, which was the component which was supposed to deliver water to Taita Taveta University, it was blown out of proportion, I can say that, because the tanks which were built there, they are not for the Tavevo, they are for the university. Ours was to connect with water. So there was a change of design. Initially, the water was to be tapped from Kaloleni up to Tanzania. There were to be built a sump there, and then water is pumped to the university, and then it can be gravitated to areas of Vindo and Maribeni. But from their design and assessment, they saw that if the water has been drawn from Kaloleni tank, it will drain the area of Kaloleni. So there was change of design, water to be tapped from directly Mzima line. So we are waiting. Taveta is still waiting for the approvals from the Ministry of Water and World Bank for that variation, so that they can be connected with water from the Mzima line. Notwithstanding, the project was concurrently being implemented with another project which is implemented at Kwale, Mwache Dam. So it was assumed that Mwache Dam will be finished earlier, so that Taveta can be relieved some water, so that it can go to the university. But for now, they are still doing compensation, and some of the challenges which have really delayed on the implementation of Taita Taveta University line. But I can report to this house, the World Bank were here last week, and we are hoping in the course of next month we'll get that approval for variation from Zina line to Tanzania and then to university. Thank you.
Honorable members, I just want to give 2 minutes to any pressing question from any honorable member before I allow the nominee to make his final submission and actually tell us why we should write in our report that he is the most suitable candidate for this position, or why not. Mheshimiwa Anko.
Thank you very much, Chair, for the opportunity. I was going through the media, social media, and many people are complaining about the nominee, that he has been there, and as we are continuing, our nominee said that he has been once that in Tavevo, and even in the Banana, and even now he's the Director of Finance. And in Tavevo, somehow he didn't perform. In Banana, still he didn't perform. Even now, we have the medics issues, also the CHP's issues not being paid in time, while we as the house, we passed the budget, and now he has been the director. He did not advise wisely on the finance department. So if he gets the CCO, will he perform? And these complaints, how is he going to do with all these issues? Thank you, Chair.
Nominee, those will be your final question from honorable members. Kindly take a very short while, very short time, respond to them in a way that you sum them up with your own final submission. Clearly, the question lacked facts around it, but it's a question all the same. Banana plant never materialized. Tavevo,
has many questions. You are also a resident of Taita Taveta. And finance department as a whole department has many queries. So we do not need any facts as a house to pass the same question to you as a nominee, because we are not looking at raising a legal threshold. We are looking at raising a suitability threshold. So take your time and then answer those questions, give your feedback the best way you know how, and then share your final submission and convince these honorable members why I should append the signatures, the chair of the committee, recommending you in that position. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On the issues of complaints, as I stated earlier, none has never been brought to my attention that people are complaining about this or this interval. And issue of saying that I didn't perform, maybe if it can be clearly stated on what parameters, so that I can clearly say that I did not do this or that. On the issue of medics, this is something we also need to know. These deductions, where did you start not remitting these deductions? And the problem, I can categorically state that it started way beyond 2018. So it's something which has not started today. On the issue of CHPs, I believe there is a component which national and county governments have to pay. It's a 50-50. And there were some framework challenges on the issue of disbursement. So I believe those are some of the issues which caused the delays in disbursement to the respective community health promoters. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Almighty God for giving me this opportunity to be vetted by this honorable house, and also thank His Excellency the Governor, His Excellency Andrew Madime, for nominating me as the CCO of Finance and Economic Planning, and having confidence and trust for turning around this department regardless of the challenges which is facing. And I believe I'm the suited candidate to turn around things in that department and the entire county government with the strategies which I have, and I believe in the near future we'll see a more robust finance and a more proactive finance department. And it's my wish to change the status quo which has remained for a long time, and it's my hope I'll be getting the support from the House and the entire executive from the Taita Taveta County Government. Thank you very much.
Thank you, nominee Laban, for honoring the invitation for this exercise. I would wish also to take this opportunity to thank the members of the public represented by the Fourth Estate and the visitors who are the gallery, and all the honorable members for taking your time to ask very relevant questions. I wish to advise that the committee, the Joint Committee of Budget and Pick Pack, will be retreating after this to come up with a report. All matters discussed will be put into consideration, and a comprehensive report will be given out for the final vote by this House within the timelines as stipulated by law. I also wish to take this opportunity to speak to the nominee seated before the House. It is not the first time the House is vetting a nominee for either CCO position or CCM position or any other position that requires House vetting. And most of the candidates who appear before the House present themselves in a manner that appears like the solution for Taita Taveta County. But today, Taita Taveta County is facing real, not imaginary, real problems. We have employees deductions not remitted. We have a moribund health structure. All this revolves around finances and the advice that is given to the governor by the department. And the CCO position is very critical in all this. Should this House give a nod to you? Because I cannot make that ruling. It is upon the House. I can assure you, this House will not hesitate to delete the ink in which it applies in its own discretion. Because why I'm repeating all this, yet this is a fact. Majority of the people who follow politics, in which is the world that we are in, development politics, tend to castigate the House when it chooses to sanction a CCM or a CCO. But unfortunately, there is nothing else we can do besides that within the law. So I would want to make it clear in advance, now that I'm the chair budget, should there be need, and assuming you are passed by the House to become the CCO, should there be need for you, assuming you're passed, for you to be sanctioned by the House, that mandate lies squarely with me, so that you do not see me as your enemy but as an executor of the law as it's supposed to be. It is important for us to make it very clear at the word go. I think, nominee, you will not have any problem with that position, because it is not my position, it's the law's position, which I believe you have quoted very well, all the laws that provide for your office.
Well noted, Chair.
Thank you, nominee. Honorable members, with those few remarks, unless my co-chair you have anything, I wish to call the meeting to adjourn. The meeting stands adjourned.